Alrighty, so for homeschool today, we went to the library, and it was a lot of fun. But most of this video is going to be me talking about it, because, yeah, I didn't film a lot in the library. Shh! So, just a quick little introduction to the whole thought process. They've never been to a library before, mainly because most of the things that we read, we already own. Like, we own books. Libraries aren't, like, super popular until you're, like, wanting to find specific things these days. So, it was kind of one of those things. I also had stuff that I had to print out for work and court, etc. So, my mom and I took them to the library on a day that she was able to, which happened to be a school day for Elias. So I figured, you know what? We're already going to the library, because even in this year, we don't own a printer. Okay? We're not one of those families. But I was like, okay, go to the library, I'll print off the stuff that I need, and we can make like a field trip out of it and pick out some educational books and, you know, do some learning around all that. So that's exactly what we did. Before I go into the rest of what that looked like for us, here's the highlights from the library, because I did film a little bit. Park. Hold a hand. Thank you. Look for cars.
No car.
Good job.
That's why you put the strap behind your heel, weirdo.
And it won't come falling off you. Remember. Okay, come on. Let's go figure out where Grandma is so I can hand her. It's okay. Keep going.
I know.
I know.
There's a Lego.
Puppet theater.
It's really cool.
Grandma, I'm making something for you.
Oh, what are you making for me?
Oh, something which you really will like.
Oh, I bet. You gotta wash them all.
Because
That's a bell pepper. Yellow bell pepper.
I tried that. I want two.
Yep. What?
Do you want to see what I saw?
Well, okay, so like I said, there was a lot of reasons that we had to go to the library anyway, and I just was like, you know what, let's make it into a whole thing, right? So we did a special lesson coinciding going to the library. We went to the library, we let them pick out their books, and we sat there and we looked through the books once we got home, obviously, but we sat there, we looked through the books, we looked through both books. And Levi was learning about fireflies, Elias was learning about comets. And then it was kind of more of a, let's talk about it, let's watch things related to it. So I YouTube stuff, educational stuff, and found some things for us to watch together and for us to learn about together. We read the books together, and then we just kind of discussed it all in an open forum. So it ended up being a day where he didn't have a workbook to work through, which I'm sure he thoroughly enjoyed. Because sometimes the workbooks frustrate him just a little bit. Which, like, I understand. Because, like, homeschooling for the majority of it, there's not a lot of, you know, sitting down. At least with how I homeschool. I don't know how everybody else homeschools. But, like, my homeschooling isn't, like, very sit down and let's get through this. Like, we have pages that we have to get done because the state could at any point be like, hey, we want to see what you're teaching him. And I have to be able to submit what like what he's done so far and like show things that he's worked on. So that's definitely a part of homeschooling, but it's like the smallest chunk of it. Most of it is just learning things together in ways that he likes to learn. And he likes to watch things. He likes to go out and do things. He likes to explore the world around him. So we integrate a lot of that into his learning environment. Especially because I'm able to, because it's homeschool. Like, it's super easy to do it that way. Leads to a lot of things like field trips and exploring the world around us and getting creative, and like there's all kinds of fun things that I plan on doing to kind of really get his brain going and thinking, right? And there's so many ways that you can integrate learning into your everyday routine and stuff, and that's kind of the majority of what homeschool ends up looking like for us. Is we're doing this stuff, we're learning while we're doing it, and it's a part of your everyday routine already, like going over measurements and stuff with cooking, and you know, having him help me read books before bed, just little things like that. So that tends to be the majority of the day, and that's kind of why I personally love homeschooling so far anyway. I love being able to just have fun and show him specifically that learning is fun, and that it doesn't have to be this whole thing where you sit in this one spot and you're forced to be quiet, you're forced to just do your work and retain that knowledge for that test, and then you can discard it. Like the way that we teach, at least the way that I teach, I say we, but I think it's because I see a lot of other homeschool moms do similar things, but the way that I see moms teaching and the way that I personally teach him, it's always so integrated into your day that you're like actively getting your kid thinking about it constantly and remembering it. And the things that he remembers is absolutely fascinating. Like recently, like for his special stuff for library, we talked about space and comets and all that fun stuff, right? But he's actually learning weather science right now in his books. He finished anatomy. And the weather science, like right now we're in hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff, right? And when we were learning about the tornadoes, we ended up going out onto the trampoline for a little bit, and I had him doing like spinning and stuff, right? To be like, okay, spin slowly. That's a small tornado. Spin a little bit faster. That's like this tornado. Spin a little bit faster now. That's like this tornado, right? So on and so forth. And it was such a fun way for him to learn, and he was able to play while learning, that information is still in his brain. Like to the point where he'll see clouds of smoke as we're like driving to church, and he'll be like, that kind of looks like a tornado, but like this tornado. And I love that. I find that to be so amazing, right? Like, it's so nice to see him just like actively, his brain is engaged and he's thinking about what he's learning about, even when he's not currently sitting down and learning about that, which is just so nice to see. And truth be told, I have kind of felt like I haven't been doing that great at teaching him. Like, I've been having like doubts about it and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if he's even retaining any of this stuff, but I'm able to actively see that he is. Like, he's showing me every day that the way that we're doing this is helping him learn it, helping him retain it, helping him understand what we're teaching. And I'm not just sitting him down in front of a book and saying, do this worksheet, now do this worksheet. That's like some of what we do, especially because like right now it's winter, so he's not as excited to go outside anymore because he doesn't like the snow. He's not a big fan of it like getting on him. So that kind of complicates it a little bit, but we're still able to, you know, go through the motions. And our library day was a great way to go through the motions in a fun way that was still going out and doing something, especially because that library has a lot of things that are appealing to kids anyway, like that kitchen and that video. But yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting because it was a way to get things done while still providing like a homeschool day for him that included a lot of learning, while also getting the things done that I needed to get done. But it was also just like a nice little family outing too, which is always fun, always a great time. And ultimately, it was a great way to spend a Monday. Like, I'd rather be at the library watching them explore and have that first experience of actually getting to go to the library. Especially because when I was a kid, I spent like every day out of my summer at libraries with my cousins. So it kind of brought back like that nostalgia to me personally, which was also nice. But yeah, that's kind of it. This is not an exciting video, but it is the video of the day, so yeah. I don't know. That's kind of all my thoughts that I had on it. You can't really explain a library in great detail and stuff, right? Like, especially when I don't have worksheets or anything to show off or anything, because obviously I couldn't make a worksheet while we were there and print it off, because, yeah, like, that'd be really hard to do, since I had to print things without them knowing what I was doing, because I keep the court stuff very hidden from them. They don't know that I've done court things. I, like, whenever I have to, because we do court over the phone since he's in a separate state, but every time that I do court stuff, I'm always like, oh, Mom has a work call. They don't have any concept of that part of it. But yeah, so I wanted to get that done while they were, you know, in the play area, and then do the books and stuff with them after. So otherwise I probably would have found a cute little worksheet for fireflies and space comets and stuff, but I didn't know what they were going to pick, and I didn't want to make them stay there too much longer. Yeah. That's all I have. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye.